I'm Julian Baggini and I'm the author of Atheism, A Very Short Introduction, and these are 10 things you need to know about atheism. Number one is that the name is historical accident. It's only because we live in a historically theistic culture that atheists have to be defined in negation to that. In a world in which everyone stopped believing in God, there would still be atheists, of course. Two, A is not the same as anti. Not all atheists are vehemently anti-religion in the sense they just want to wipe it out and have a go at bishops all the time. 3, atheism is not necessarily dogmatic. To believe that there is no God is not the same as saying it's absolutely certain there's no way you could be wrong. You can be open-minded and yet, for the meantime, convinced that as far as you're concerned, there's no reason to believe in God, and for that reason, you're an atheist. 4, some people say atheism is unjustified, you should always be agnostic because you can't be certain. False. Agnosticism is when you think it's really in a balance, you're not really sure either way. Atheism is simply when you think the balance of evidence is strong enough to think that there is no God, but that's not the same as saying you're 100% certain. It's going back to the dogmatic idea again. 5, a lot of scholars agree that the first avowed atheist in the kind of Western Christian era was a French priest called Jean Meslier, right? And that's interesting because actually that's not unique. You find atheists even today within the clergy, and it's a very interesting fact that lack of belief is not entirely confined to people who reject everything about religion. 6, being good and morality is no more of a problem for an atheist than it is for a religious person. Because if you believe in God, you've always got this problem. Does God command you to do what is good because it is good, or is it good because he commands you to do it? If it's only good because he commands you to do it, that's a very shallow view of morality. So the key point is that even God is only choosing what is good because it is good. And in that sense, goodness is independent of God. And that means you can understand what goodness means even if you're an atheist. 7, the Soviet Union is often held up as one of these examples of what awful things happen if you become an atheist state. But interestingly enough, even in the Soviet Union, the Russian Orthodox Church was given a certain freedom to do a certain amount during the rule of Stalin. And in fact, that Orthodox Church supported certain things done by the Soviet Union. So it's just a myth that the Soviet Union was this absolutely atheist state. 8, people often say to me there are no atheists in foxholes, meaning when it comes down to it, if you're facing death, people always turn to God, say a prayer or something. It's factually not true. We actually have stories of people who are atheists and facing death who found that no, they didn't do that at all. And in fact, if anything, I'd turn it round and say, where were the theists at funerals when they're crying for the person who's gone without really believing they're going to be reunited with them in the future? 9, atheism isn't scientism. Okay, atheists often are advocates of a scientific worldview. But that's not the same as scientism, which is the idea that the only things we're thinking about, the only truths are those which are revealed by science. Some atheists are scientistic in that way, but by no means all, and atheism doesn't require you to be that. Finally, 10. There are around a dozen countries in the world today where you can still face death for being an atheist.